Today we're going to be reviewing this little guy here. We're going to be looking at one of the most talked about keyboards of 2024, the Aula F75. Now this board has been literally everywhere. Has been topping sales charts last year, has been filling up TikTok feeds, and becoming the go-to budget 75% keyboard for many first-time buyers. But really, the real question is the Aula F75 actually that good? Does it deserve that many reviews? Is it really the GOAT for the starting keyboards? Has the hype still spilled over in 2025? Now, I've spent a lot of time with this board, and while it's got some really strong points, there's also some other things that we need to talk about in this video. First off, in 2024, this keyboard may have been $70 US. It is not the reality that we live in now in 2025. It is now hovering pretty much at $80.
You need to leave!
So let's break it down. We're going to be separating the good from the bad, but we're going to be starting with the good. For just under $80, you're getting wire connectivity, Bluetooth, and 2.4 gigahertz wireless, which already puts this keyboard ahead of a lot of its competitors. It also ships with the Leobog Reaper switches, and honestly, these have really impressed me. They're smooth, they're creamy, and they feel great right off the box. They have been pre-lubed, and you don't need to touch them to enjoy that satisfying feeling when you're typing on this keyboard. Speaking of keycaps, the board does come with double-shot PBT keycaps, and it's always a win at this price range. They're durable and resist shine, so you won't get that greasy ABS look down the road. And speaking of foam, the F75 has a generous stack of foam inside. It has many layers, and there is also a last layer, this thick plastic sheet at the bottom that really helps to round out the sound here. The light blue colorway that I got here for this video looks great, and even though the case is made out of plastic, it has a good heft to it when you hold the keyboard. It feels solid, it doesn't feel cheap, and it sits nicely on any desk. So yeah, the Aula didn't really cut every corner here, but now let's get onto the bad side. First and foremost, when looking closely at this keyboard, and especially the keycaps, the font on the keycaps are all over the place. Some letters are thick, some are thin. It's kind of inconsistent all across the board, especially in some of the keys such as backspace, enter, tab, caps lock, shift. When you look at those, when you compare the function keys from F1 to F4 and then compare to the F5 to F8, they all have different weights. And I know this is not a huge deal for a lot of people, but it is for me. I'm a designer. I work with graphics. I work with typography. And looking at this, to me, just feels like it's a bit of an oversight on the design side of things here. Personally, this is also my personal opinion, the keycaps have harsh edges. Compared to Keychron smoother caps, which I was just reviewing in this past video, these can feel a bit rough after long typing sessions. I know this seems, again, like a super small thing, and I know it is also personal opinion, but typing on a keyboard with nice rounded OSA keycaps that are a little taller and they really have that roundness around the edges makes me want to keep typing. I could type like a whole novel on it. Whereas on the Aula F75, I'm more like, when I'm going to be done typing? And that's not really a great feeling. The plate itself has flex cuts, which should add comfort and help to dampen the sound, but it also creates a bit of an issue here. The center sinks way more than the edges on this keyboard, like way more. You can actually feel the middle dip while typing, which is really not balanced, and it could get to you. This is a thing that could get to you after many typing sessions. The keyboard does offer Mac, Windows, and Android mode, but there are no Mac-specific keycaps in the box. So for Mac users like me, that's a small, but once again, annoying miss. The rotary dial, like the little dial on this keyboard, actually feels a little bit underwhelming if I'm going to be also honest. It feels a bit stiff, and by default, It's only controlling RGB brightness. There are ways that you might be able to remap that in VIA, but compared to Keychron's, once again, smooth dials, and you feel like every single tick from every single turn that you do, it's a bit of a step back. Now the Aula F75, it's already good enough out of the box. It has solid switches, has plenty layers of foam, and decent sound. But if you like modding your board, this isn't really a great starter board to do so. It's hard to open, first and foremost, and it won't get much extra value from tweaks compared to other boards in the same price range. There are better canvases out there for doing that kind of custom work. The RGB LEDs are north facing here in this case, meaning that they shine toward the top of each switch. That's great for lighting up legends, but it can cause keycap interference with some of the cherry profile switches out there or shorter keycaps. You might feel it's like rub or hear a different sound when they're bottoming out in the actuation. Now, is that still a deal breaker in 2025? It is not for most people. Modern keycaps are tall enough these days to avoid that happening. But if you love cherry profiles, please keep this in mind. Now, there is a visual LED here for when you need to charge or when the board is actually charging. In my personal opinion, this LED is way too big, is way too long, and is way too bright in my opinion. You can't miss when the keyboard is low battery. I know this is supposed to be a good thing, but in my personal opinion, this light keeps just flashing here and it's a bit too distracting. I would prefer if it was like a little or smaller light, if you had like an amber color and it was sitting in either corner of the board, but this one is just like a little bit too much. So now let's talk about who's the Aula F75 actually for. If you want a plug and play mechanical keyboard that works wirelessly, sounds solid, and doesn't need a lot of mods or any mods really, this fits the bill. It's great for office use, for light gaming, or a first step into mechanical keyboards without having to spend hundreds of dollars. Now, who is this keyboard not for? If you are a keyboard modder, or if you're on a Mac, a power user Mac user like me, or if you're someone who cares deeply about dial feel and keycap profiles, this might not be your board. But for everybody else, especially newcomers wanting something ready to go out of the box, the F75 still makes sense in 2025, with those caveats that I just mentioned. So, all right, let's wrap up with the final scores here. In conclusion, I think that the Aula F75 is a good keyboard that's starting to show its age. For under 80 bucks, it delivers plenty, but in 2025 is no longer the standout leader. If this was 2024, I'd say I would grab it immediately. Today, I think there are better choices for starting keyboards depending on what you value the most. But once again, that's just my take. Have you ever tried the Aula F75? Have you modded it? Have you changed its keycaps or switches? Do you still think that it deserves its popularity? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be hugely appreciated. And make sure to turn the bell notifications so you don't miss any of these reviews, tips and tricks, and things that we're going to be putting here on this channel to make you a better keyboard enthusiast and user. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.